Hello, everyone. I am here with my friend Laura Templeton, who is amazing at helping you to condense what you're trying to say in your business meetings, in your networking, when you're trying to explain what you do and you're like, oh, how can I put this in a way that's like less than 25 minutes? So he's going to help us with the 30-second, what do you do? And I'm coming to you from my parents' house. We are visiting in Massachusetts for spring break, so the background's a little different today. And I've got my computer wedged into a bookshelf here. So welcome, Laura.
Hey, we can work. That's what's nice about being a virtual, being virtual, you can work from anywhere. I love it. I love it. What do we call it? A nomad, like a
Yes,
business
a
nomad?
digital nomad.
Digital nomad. I'm like,
But instead of working from Bali, I'm working from Massachusetts, where a nor'easter is coming in tonight.
oh, yeah. We had tornado warnings about an hour ago, so yeah, just never know what's going to happen, right? So
Oh my goodness.
it's all good. So thank you for having me here. I love hanging out with you. You know that, Carolyn, what you're putting out to the world is just absolutely brilliant. So I appreciate you inviting me to be here to share with your audience. And I love the work that I do. So let's get down to it.
Yes, you do very important work. This is something that everybody really needs help with, to be concise but still be engaging and interesting and grab people's attention so that they really understand what you do and how you're going to help them.
Yeah, a lot like your funnels, right? A lot like the funnels that you create for people. It's really about connecting with people on that deep emotional level that gets them to lean in and go, "Oh, tell me more about that." Or how, like, why? What do you do? Tell me more. I want to get to know you. And that's that key element of being very clear and concise when it comes to your 30-second message, or when you're just putting content out there.
Yeah, so this is not just for, like, I'm picturing when I'm in a Zoom room and networking and they go, okay, Carolyn Choate, it's up your turn to introduce yourself, and it's like deer in the headlight panic, or read off a script that sounds very stilted, but it's not just there. You can use your 30-second message as headline on your webpage, as like bio on your Instagram, in your captions, in your social media posts, all of that stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I even have a client who uses it in his marketing. He does a lot of beautiful little mailers that he sends out, and it's perfect. Those bite-sized chunks for a mailer that you can send out. And it just, that carries your message through very consistently. And that's what a lot of people look for, is the consistency in your messaging, whether it's on social media or on your website, whatever you're putting out there, and the words that are coming out of your mouth. If they're not all connected, it doesn't make sense, right? You're confusing your audience.
Was there something that inspired you to start going in this direction with how you help people? Was there like an inciting incident?
Great question. Yes, my company 30-Second Success was founded about 8.5 years ago. And it came from a need that I saw within my networking community. I had left corporate. I moved into direct sales when my kids were little, and I did a lot of training with direct sales. And in direct sales, the biggest thing was using networking as part of your marketing strategy, right? Doing a lot of networking, meeting people, because it's a people business. Let's talk, let's just put it out there. Sales is a people business. You need to get in front of the people. So being able to get in front of people with networking, I had a lot of training on how to do your 30-second message. But I had stepped into a leadership role with a women's networking organization where I lived in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And when I did so, I started asking my members, what do you need? What do you need help with? Who can I bring in here to start sharing with us and teaching us to do things to improve our businesses, right? What is it that you need me to do to help you become more successful in your business, build your brand, build your story? And what I found was most of the women in my group were really struggling with that 30-second message. There would be some women. I actually had one woman who used to hide in the bathroom every time it was her turn to do 30-second messages. Broke my heart. It absolutely broke my heart. She would, because she was so petrified of standing up in front of an audience and not knowing what to say. Right. And she actually was in a nonprofit organization, and her job was to connect with people and to really get people to be more involved in the nonprofit. But I started looking for people to help, and I could find people that would talk about networking, but not specifically about your 30-second message, right? They could teach to it, but there wasn't a lot of depth to it. It was, let me teach you how to network. And I was like, that's not what we need. We need someone to teach about the 30-second message. So I started teaching people in my network, in my group, and then word got out, because networkers don't just stay in one place; they go elsewhere.
Go figure.
Right. So word got out that I was teaching, and I started getting invitations to speak to other groups, and started getting more client referrals. And I came home probably about a year into it, and I said to my husband, I think I know what I'm going to do next. I was ready to start something of my own. And 30-second success was a natural fit for me. I love helping people. I love speaking. I love writing. I love learning about people and their stories, and kind of niching it down to, here's the meat of it. Here's what you really do, and here's how you help people. And through all of that, that's where 30-second success was launched in 2015. So it's been a pretty wild ride. We're coming up on 8 years in April 15th. So tax day. It's a good day to remember. That was the day my LLC actually officially arrived. So I've been doing this like 9 years, but the official launch was 8 years. And it's just amazing the amount of people that I've met through the whole process, and the people that I get to know and serve and love. And just, I tell people all the time, once you become one of my clients, you're like mine. Like, I keep you forever. So it's fun to just go back and talk with folks and understand that there's a very simple formula for doing your 30-second message. There really is. And a lot of people like to overcomplicate it. Or the biggest piece that I find that people struggle with is understanding who your ideal client is. Who are you really meant to serve?
That's the basis of everything. You can't do your funnels if you don't know that. You can't do anything if you don't know that.
Right. And that's why a lot of things get cloudy. Remember, I was saying about that consistency in your social media and what you're saying, what you're sharing, where you're putting it. The consistency, like, I'm asking the same questions that somebody who does web design, graphic design, funnel creations, we're all asking the same questions. Anybody that's helping you with content or to put your message out into the world, asking you the same question. And it really starts with understanding who your ideal client is.
That's a very confusing thing, because everybody talks about it in a different way. And what does it mean to niche down? How far should you niche? Do you need to know that your ideal client, shops at Stop and Shop? Does that matter? Do you need to know, which parts of it are important, and how well do you have to know that person? Do you put a name to them?
Yeah. It's like, are they a Nordstrom's or are they a Nordstrom's rack?
Now that might be a meaningful difference. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that just popped into my head, and you're absolutely right, is understanding not just their buying habits, but there's so much that goes into understanding your ideal client. It's demographics, it's the psychographics, it's their behavior patterns, goes into understanding who your ideal client is. And the more you understand who that person is and what kind of help they need, the more you're able to position yourself in a way, you're able to provide even training. Like, as somebody who creates courses and workshops, I'm always looking for, what do my clients need, right? Mm-hmm. What is it that they're struggling with in the moment? Because let's face it, life changes, right? Every couple of years, people are looking for different things. Like, okay, I finally got my brand messaging thing figured out, but now I use it, right? Or let's go back to understanding who that niche is, and what happens when I'm in that creative mode and I'm creating something new, and all of a sudden it's like nothing's working. Why is nothing working? Well, you're up leveling your business. Now you're speaking to a whole new client, right? So how are you finding them? Where are you finding them? All of that has to be taken into consideration. And that's the beauty of what we do, is that if we remember to go back to the foundations, are you still speaking to the same client? What has changed? What has shifted? If you're up leveling, chances are your clients are up leveling, and you need to be speaking their current language.
So we called this episode Ditch the Pitch and Start Connecting. Can you tell us, what is the difference between a 30-second message and a pitch?
Right. Well, your 30-second message is that one, it's that very short, sweet narrative that explains to people exactly who you serve, how you serve them, and then it has a strong call to action. A pitch typically is more like, a lot of people think of it as an elevator speech. Your 30-second message is more of an elevator speech, but a pitch really is more of a sales pitch, like something you would see on Shark Tank, right? There's a lot more detail. There's a lot more that goes into it. So, and that's why I say ditch the pitch. When you're throwing up words on people, it just gets overwhelming. So that 30-second message is a very short, sweet, clear, concise message that takes all of those extra words out of it, right? It really narrows down exactly what you do, who you serve, and what you want people to do once they know that you can help them, right? There's a formula that I teach that I learned years ago. I learned it from when I was in direct sales. Brian Tracy teaches it constantly, but I use the same formula, very similar to what he teaches, but I made it work for me, right? I figured out how to make it work for me, and then I teach my clients the same thing. And it's really simple, but everything starts with that understanding your ideal client. What are they struggling with? How can you help them? Right.
So I know you have some courses, but you also work with people one-on-one. Is that right?
I do. I have online courses, and I absolutely love working with individuals one-on-one as well. And then I have a group program. So I love working in a group. What I love about working in a group is that the folks in the group get to know one another really, really well. So they're able to start saying, did you ever think about this? Like offering additional insights, things, like kind of that mastermind feel to it. But when you have a group program that people are able to tie into and come back to, you're starting that sense of community, that sense of connection that builds a lot of trust, and people are able to move forward faster together. So that's what I love about the group program. So I do a lot of speaking. I'm actually getting excited. This month I'm speaking to Penn State University. Networking 2.0. So it's based, again, on my book, 30-Second Success, Ditch the Pitch and Start Connecting. That's how they found me. My publisher actually highlighted my book on LinkedIn, and they reached out to me and asked me if I would come teach for Career Week. So that I'm really excited about that, and having the opportunity to speak at Penn State is amazing. And the folks there are excited to have me. So I'm looking forward to that later this month.
What can do for you?
I know, right? Exactly. A book can open a lot of doors. We just launched a brand new book. I'm actually a co-author in this way. So your first year, What I Wish I'd Known. So that just launched on International Women's Day, because it's a book written by women entrepreneurs for women entrepreneurs to help you in that first year and really to accelerate your business early on by learning from the things that we wish we had known. So I'm really excited about launching that. There's 22 women that are highlighted in there. The stories are amazing. And it's just even the things that I'm learning now after 9 years in business, I feel like there's just anything you can glean from the things that other people have already been through, right? It's taking that knowledge of your network and learning. The learning is just amazing to me. So having that opportunity. So thank you for highlighting books. Books are so amazing, and they can open a lot of doors for you. Like I said, the Penn State opportunity, I've actually taken that now and started reaching out to other people on LinkedIn who are in that alumni and career services and saying, look, hey, I'm speaking to, I'm speaking to Penn State University based on my book, 30-Second Success, Ditch the Pitch and Start Connecting. I would love to share the same information with you, and perhaps I could help your students as well. So you can then, you get one and you can highlight it and share it with other.
I love it. That's very smart.
Yeah. But yeah, so going back to your question about ditch the pitch and start connecting, the whole premise of ditching the pitch, right, is really about understanding the heart of your ideal clients. A lot of times when we're pitching a message, we don't know who our audience is, right? So we're making a lot of assumptions. We're in front of a lot of people that we don't know. And, we're just throwing words out there, hoping that it's going to land. And, so a pitch is very, can a lot of times be very specific to maybe a career opportunity or an investment opportunity that you're looking for. Your 30-second message is more about you. It's more about what you bring to the table. And that's the fundamental difference. A pitch is really about a product or service that you're trying to sell. Whereas, stop trying to sell yourself, right? Your 30-second message is an invitation for people to want to get to know you better.
So that call to action at the end, should that be something like connect one-on-one with a virtual coffee?
Yes. Schedule a call with me today is my favorite action. Schedule a call with me today, connect with me on LinkedIn, visit my website, check out my course here, whatever it is that you want them to do, make sure that you always have a strong call to action. And that, like join my community, right? Connect with the right people. And by joining my communities, there's a lot of people building communities today. So why not talk about your community where people can come together and just, support one another in a beautiful way?
Can you give us an example of your 30-second message?
Okay. Yep. I know. Everybody always asks me, what's your 30-second message? So I'm Laura Templeton. Yeah. So one of the things, just very quickly, there's a formula that I teach people to follow, and you'll see it. And once you know what it is, and it's really written out in my book, there's a very specific formula. But at 30-second Success, we help professionals and service-based business owners connect with their audience in an authentic way that drives more business to their door. If you're looking for a way to communicate effectively with your ideal clients and get more people into your funnel, schedule a call with me today. I'm Laura Templeton with 30-second Success.
Very nice.
I had to throw the funnel piece in there.
Yeah. So, you're so good at it now. I'm sure you're able to kind of on the fly switch things out to make it really targeted to your audience.
And that beauty of it, right? If you have a 30-second message that really becomes part of it just becomes ingrained in your mind that you can share it very easily, then you can start playing with it, right? If you're sitting with someone like a group, like I might highlight a photographer in the room or a website designer who just said something brilliant, right? But they may need someone like me that's going to help create the content that then highlights people on the website or the graphics, or your brand. Your visual brand is just as important as your verbal brand. So bringing those two together, right? So there's always opportunity to play with it. And I teach people how to do that. And it's one of the things that I talk about in my book. Like once you know the formula and once you have a really solid 30-second message that you can just recite off the top of your head when somebody says, oh, tell me a little bit about you. It's like, deer in headlights. Let's not have that happen. Then you can really start to play with it and have fun.
Yeah. So your book is available on Amazon, so I can put a link for that. And we can also put a link to your website that has your courses on it. So I know you've broken them down into sort of bite-sized chunks of like learn your ideal client and how to do the 30-second message, if I remember correctly.
Yes. So one is finding your ideal client. The second one is crafting your 30-second message. And then the third one is maximizing your networking. So it's really, that first piece is all about the ideal client, right? If you don't know who your ideal client is, it's really hard to create that message that really gets them, grabs them here. And I talk about the emotional piece a lot, right? We need to be able to connect on an emotional level and really understand what our clients are struggling with. And then crafting your message, it's teaching you the formula. It's taking you through the formula, sharing a couple different ways. Like you could start by asking a question. You could start with a really strong statement. There's a couple different ways to get people to lean in, right? How do you grab their attention from that very first thing you say? Because let's face it, if you don't grab their attention in the first 7 seconds, you've lost them already, right? So that's one of the things, and I will give you a pointer. Never start your 30-second message by telling people what you do. Because if you said, like, if you're a financial advisor, hi, I'm Laura Templeton with Edward Jones. Oh, I know what she does. I don't need to look at her. But if I start with, hi, how many of you have ever looked at your bank statement and realized that your money's gone? Like, oh crap, right? Now you got my attention. So, so there's a lot of pointers in my book about that. That's something that I teach in my courses as well, is, how to really get people to lean in from that first thing that you say. How do you get them to want to know more? Because it's, like I said, it's a door opener. It's that first introduction. It's getting people to want to know more and then inviting them to have a deeper conversation with you.
See, I'm going to have to work on that, because I'm always like, I'm a sales funnel builder. Nobody wants to hear that.
Right.
Especially not my group. My ideal client doesn't want to hear that. They're going to be like, ugh, funnels, tune that out.
Yeah. Well, Alex Miner, he talks all the time. I don't know if you remember how he used to struggle with his 30-second messages. And he actually introduced me to his group. He has a group of videographers that he networks with. And it's a funny thing, I also know another gentleman in that group from when I lived in Pennsylvania. And they had me come in and do a couple workshops. Well, his 30-second messages have gotten to be so brilliant. People comment all the time. And it was just the subtle tweaks that we were able to work through in that workshop that really helped him nail it and understand how each piece lends itself to that call to action and inspires you to want to lean in.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
Everybody
he talks about that a lot. Yeah. So we have and he's one of the people that, like, he understands of all, like, he's got people creating videos all the time. So I taught him, I'm like, here's a format that your clients can use when they're in front of the camera. Right. So I prep people for their videos a lot of times, and I'll work with people on their scripts even. I have a couple clients that do a lot of videos. So we work through their scripts, make sure that they're on point. I have one, he's a financial advisor. So there's very specific things that need to be in her script because of all the legality. Yeah, I can't say that word. All the legal stuff that goes along with it. So we're there's so many ways you can use your 30-second message, right? There really is. And even if you're creating videos, in those videos, there's still a format that you can follow. Again, it's like, who's it for? What's their problem? How are you fixing it? And what do you want them to do once they know that you can help them?
Yeah.
Technically, that's the formula.
I could see doing that at the beginning of my YouTube videos.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Those introductions are so powerful, and to really invite people in, it's beautiful. So.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing that information with us. Are there any final tips that you would like to leave us with?
I think that the biggest thing to remember is really that your message is about connecting with your audience. Take time to get to know the people in your network, right? Get to know them, understand who they are, how you can help them, how you can support them. And in turn, they're going to want to do the same for you. It's really about building connection that you can then serve, having a heart of service and serving other people allows them to understand who you are from here, right? Who you are as a person, so that they can trust you enough to start referring their friends and clients to you.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you again. It was great to have you here.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me. It was fun. I always like hanging out with you. You know that.